What exactly you want out of life? It's a simple question but difficult to answer. But it's worth the effort. It's worth to start trying. Because the alternative is to let someone else decide it for you, which often leads to unhappiness. To be honest, I'm still in the process of figuring this out, so I can't say I have all the answers. But some time ago I realized that I don't want to go through life without having any direction. And I started to be excited about this topic, about basically figuring out what you want to do with your life and setting some kind of direction. So I was thinking that I would share in this video with you what I discovered, what I learned so far, and maybe what is my approach to this question, what do you want out of life? We have never been more in need of living our life intentionally, because nowadays we are facing so many distractions in our lives, things calling for our brain's attention than ever before. I think that the best answer to this is design. To use the word design as a verb is to do or plan something with a specific purpose or intention in mind. And there is something called lifestyle design. Lifestyle design means to define what matters in your life, where you should focus your energy and time, and what doesn't, what you should let go, what you shouldn't focus on. There is one amazing book that I read, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and the book talks about what you should focus on in your life, basically what you should give a fuck about and what you shouldn't give a fuck about. And that's basically what this is all about. It's just about choosing where to focus your time, where to focus your energy, what matters the most in your life, and that what makes you happy, and what doesn't, what you should let go. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit more how the process of lifestyle design works and how does it look for me. First of all, it's not a one-time deal, one-time activity. Figure out what you want to do and know it for the rest of your life. It's a really messy process. These are really hard things to figure out, and if you are gonna figure them out, they will change at some point. Because you as a person are constantly changing, emotionally, spiritually, physically, etc. And these changes will be happening many times during our lives. But it's okay because we are humans and this is in the end part of the process as well. The things that you want now are not the same as 10 months ago, year ago or 5 years ago. And your goals or vision of what you want out of your life will be different based on what priorities do you have at the moment. You can discover that you are really into sport and you will shift all your priorities around that and you really start focusing on that. But maybe after some time you realize, I'm not into sport anymore, I want to try art and I'm more into art right now. Nobody has it figured out, and that's the amazing part of life, that you can actually try and discover new things, and basically you can be constantly trying new things, experimenting until you will find something that you are passionate about and that actually matters in your life and you want to focus on it. I think I was going through this process when I was on high school and then when I was in my university. First I was excited about drawing, so I was every time in my high school I was drawing on a paper and everything. I was trying to be artist, let's say. Then right after, when I discovered drums, I was playing drums and I was in a band and I was like, oh my god, music is something that is super nice and I want to focus on it. Right after I discovered that I want to be web designer. When I was in the university, I started to work in one startup that is focusing on web design. And I started to doing this, I started to designing websites, and I was super excited about it. And I was like, okay, that's maybe my career, that will be my career that I want to focus on. And in the end now, I ended up in photography and filmmaking. And at least for now, I hope that this will be my career for now, but maybe it can change. Maybe tomorrow I will decide, maybe I don't want to be a filmmaker, I want to do something else. But this is like how my process went, and I think I'm still in the process. So that's something that still is going with me, and I'm still discovering new things and learning new things. So we will see. Maybe in the end I will end up in a really different place. It can be explained like you are going from point A to point B, where point A is where you are right now and point B is where you want to go. And the way looks something like this. You are learning as you go, and maybe halfway through the process you will realize that you don't even want to go to the point B. You want to go to the point C or D. You don't have to feel obligated that you need to go to the point B. Because if you don't feel it, don't spend your time on it. Because in the end, maybe it's something other people expect you to do, but it's not where you want to go. And if you won't listen to yourself, you will end up spending part of your life doing something you don't even want to do. When I was finishing high school, it was expected from people that are finishing high school that they will go to the university. get a title, because having just high school wasn't just enough. It was something mandatory, but it wasn't enough. And after a year and a half in the university, I was slowly failing all the subjects. I wasn't failing just the ones that I was excited about, like design. I wasn't failing design, or we had some subject that you were learning how to work with Excel, Word, and everything. That was super nice as well. So I think just these two I wasn't failing. Otherwise, I was failing all the other. And it wasn't because I didn't want to study or because I couldn't manage, but it was mostly because I was bored and I was sick of studying on the university, and mainly because of the direction that I had. Because of the direction that I was going in the university, because I didn't want to be a teacher, and I was having other different hobbies, and I knew that I didn't want to be a teacher, so I didn't want to spend time on it. So that time I was already having part-time job as a web designer, as I mentioned before, and sometimes I was just sitting in the office skipping my classes because I was super excited about web designing and I was just working on my project. So in the end I decided to quit the university to work full-time in the startup as a web designer. And I knew that this was something that my family and my friends and people around were expecting me to do, to finish the university and get a title. And I knew that some people will look at me as a failure and that I failed and didn't finish the university. But I didn't care because that was something I didn't want to do. And I basically wasn't happy. I wasn't happy continuing the university and studying, and that was the main indicator that I need to change, that I need to do something else. And in the end, my family, they gave me really big support. And I think it was because they saw how happy am I, and that this decision wasn't just because I didn't want to do university, I didn't want to study, but because I wanted to do something else, and I realized that I'm happy with something else. And I can say that this was the best decision of my life, because I saved 2 or 3 more years of my life, of my time, and I could invest this time to discovering more things about myself and discovering what I want to do and focusing on things that I'm really truly passionate about. And I know that I didn't stick with web designing, and I'm not web designer right now, but it really helped me just to have this time, just to save this time to discover more about me and try more different things and discover what I really want to do. So here is how I'm using lifestyle design in my own way. I started in the beginning of the pandemic when the lockdown started in my country, in Czech Republic. I sat down with my laptop and I was just imagining what I want out of my life. I started with my life vision, where I want to be in 10 years. I know that 10 years is not life vision, not whole life, but I just call it simply like that, simply life vision. And I started imagining what my day will look like in 10 years, and I was writing it down in sentences. Maybe it sounds big and like something in the clouds, and maybe you don't even know what you will do tomorrow or next week, but you have a direction, you have an idea where to go, and that's make a world of a difference. My main things that I wrote down were that I want to be a YouTuber. I want to have a YouTube channel to share my learnings and things I know with people out there, with you. Basically, that's what I'm now trying to do. And also that one of my dreams is to have my own production company. I also wrote down what kind of apartment I want to have, where I want to live, what my finance status will look like. Also that I want to publish my documentary in Netflix. So now when I'm lost or I don't know where to go in my life, I can just go back to it, read through it, and I have some idea what should be the next step. Or if I'm doing any big decision in my life, I know how to decide, so it will be aligned to where I want to be, where I want to go. Now, how you will know what you want to do in 10 years? I think the best you can do is experimenting, as I mentioned before, discovering new things, learning new things, gathering new inputs, and after reflect on it. Basically reflecting on what you are living, what you are going through, and what effects does it have. You can do reflection through journaling, meditation, or just having time. Basically, it's about turning down the stimulation, processing information, and it's about taking time to put pieces together, connect the dots. You can start just with simple exercise, just writing down on paper what I'm passionate about, and then start to think about these things, these activities or things you wrote down in a horizon of 10 years. So how you want to develop them, where you want to be in 10 years in these specific activities or things you are passionate about. Right after I defined my life vision, I had a direction where to go. I started to breaking down to year, quarters and months. So I'm talking here about having the big picture divided to the smallest pieces I can do every month, and this is how I define my goals. The goals in this case are more specific. So when I know that in 10 years or my life vision is to be YouTuber, I know I need to start publishing videos now. And I know that I need to publish at least 3 videos every month. So with that, I know exactly what to do, what are the smallest pieces I need to do to accomplish this goal. And with that, the point B is just not something in the clouds without clear way how to get it, but I really can see what are the steps that I need to take to go to where I want to be. I define my goals in 6 categories: work and projects, health, relationships, dream and others, finance and education. Because I didn't want to focus just on one part of my life, to not pay attention and to not take care about the others. So with this, I can make sure that I'm putting some effort to each of them. Of course, it really depends where you are right now in your life and what are your current priorities, because it can shift based on your priorities. So for example, now I'm focusing more in my dreams and I'm focusing less on other things. But I'm trying to have at least one goal for each category, to be constant and to take care about every part of my life. It's basically up to you if you want to have your goals monthly, bi-monthly or yearly. I was having goals even weekly, but I felt that's too much for me. So now I'm having it monthly and I feel like that's enough. That's enough for me to actually achieve the things I want. But just having goals is not enough. It's not enough to have just the goals written down somewhere. The most important part, I think, is reflection. Having some system or routine that will make sure that you are aware of what are your goals, you are aware of what you need to do and when, and it's also showing you how you are accomplishing it slowly. What are the steps that you accomplish? So some way of tracking. But again, it really depends on you, what really fits for you, because this whole topic about figuring out, it will not work if it will not be fun for you, you will not enjoy, if you will be feeling that someone is pushing you or it's too much pressure on you or something. So really find something, some way of tracking or some system or routine that will fit for you, that you will be enjoying doing it. In my case, I call it review. I'm having 2 types of reviews. One is day closing and second month, quarter or year review. Day closing is just 30 minutes in the end of my day to check what I finished, short check of how I'm doing with my goals, check my emails, review my work, my projects, and also the things that are just pending from the day that I didn't finish and I'm gonna plan tomorrow. So it's just somehow closing of the day and clearing out my to-do list, and I'm preparing myself for tomorrow. The other reviews are a bit longer and a bit more complex. Here I'm also having space to reflect on the month, quarter or year, depending of what review I'm doing. And here I'm journaling, so I'm basically writing down in sentences everything that happened in the month, that I was thinking about, that I went through or that happened. I'm reflecting on what was good, what were the things that I achieved, that happened to me that I enjoyed, but also I'm thinking what I should improve for the next month. What I should work on, what I should improve. And also I'm reminding myself the milestones that happen, to just reflect what has happened in my life. And after, I'm checking if I accomplished my goals, and then I'm setting goals for the next period. It may seem like a lot, but believe me, it's worth it. With this system that I have, I can really see how I'm progressing, what I still need to do, what I accomplished. And the most amazing things is really see when I'm accomplishing something, how my vision is slowly forming into something that is tangible, that I can really see how the things are slowly forming together and creating the goal that I wanted to achieve. And again, if you don't know what you want to do, what should be your goals, then just go out to the world, just experiment, try new things, discover, go on YouTube, look for new things for tutorials. In Skillshare, you can look for new classes, what to try new, learn new things. And in the end, you will stumble upon something that you will start being really excited about, and you will feel like this could make part of your life. Last things I would want to share with you is that this is a long run. It will be hard, and maybe you will fail many times, and maybe things are gonna change. Priorities are gonna change, and sometimes your goals will feel impossible. But when you will look back at some point, you will actually realize that where you are now, it looks so impossible 2 years ago. The things that I want to accomplish today may seem really impossible and something that I can't accomplish. But when I'm gonna plant the seeds today, tomorrow I can be step closer and it may seem a little bit more possible. So as I was saying before, it's about the smallest steps that you can do every day. And if you have the direction and you know what are the steps that you can do every day, then every day your main goal, your vision will seem a little bit more possible. And in the book I mentioned before, there was one really interesting sentence that said, everything worth in life is won through negative experience. And so it won't be easy, but you need to enjoy the process. You need to enjoy the process and you need to stick to it because you are playing the long game. This is your life.